Hello world, it's your girl Nino Gotti. I am back again on the scene. And right now, the world is going to stop as I introduce an influencer of the world, of the community, activist. Can we say that?
Nah.
You don't want to say activist?
Nah.
Community leader?
Nah.
Okay, well then, you know what? I don't know what to call him, y'all. So I'm going to let Roman Morrow, is that your name? I'm going to let him introduce himself and let you know. I tried to give him a grand entrance, but he said he's none of that. But
I wanted to do the, but, you know.
Yeah, my boy.
Right. We're beyond that.
You beyond that?
Yeah, we're
So what are you, a public figure?
Nah, I'll just say I'm the host of the Drive at 5 on intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. Airs Mondays, 5 p.m. That's it.
Okay, so you're a radio personality. That's not the only thing that's a part of his catalog.
See, you making me sound important. I got a catalog now.
I've looked at your bio and some of the work that you've done, so let's just keep reading it off. Since you know how some people don't want to toot their own horn, like beep beep, like toot your horn, clap it up.
I don't have a car to toot it.
You said what? You said you don't have a what?
I don't have a car to toot it. So if you're gonna toot it, you need something.
Who said you need a car to toot your own horn?
You need a horn to toot it. Right?
No, an imaginary horn. Like you gotta pat yourself on the back, aka toot your horn sometimes,
You pat yourself on the back?
You said what?
You pat yourself on the back?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Oh, okay.
If they don't clap for me, I clap for myself. But, it seems like if you work hard, you should be able to say, hey, look, I work hard, self. You did a good job. You're great. You're amazing. And if don't nobody tell you they love you, I love you, self.
Are you familiar with Coming to America?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that scene where they introduced sexual chocolate?
Yeah.
So when they say, here comes the host of the Drive at 5, Roman Morrow.
I can't stand you, Roman. Roman was born and raised in Chicago, y'all. So if for anybody that's just not from Chicago tuned in.
Sexual chocolate.
Man. Roman chocolate. He is crazy, y'all. Roman chocolate man.
No, but an interesting story that happened.
Okay.
So I got my hair cut and stuff like that, right? So I was on my way here, and I kid you not, a little kid said, hey, you look like the Black Wizzo from the Bozo Show. And I was like, what? Because of this right here. And I was like, this is good. This is good. And he was like, can you do something for me? I'm not gonna duty you. No.
So what does duty do? Guys, you know what duty do is? I don't. What's duty do?
That was from the Bozo Show. So
it's been so long.
Yeah, you had the Cookie, you had Bozo, you had all of them.
True.
And then he had this little thing, and it goes duty do.
You know what? I'm not gonna play with you. So yeah. Oh.
We have to do this
all
over
good.
Again, right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Because of the TV?
Yeah.
Dang. Well, you want to just cut the footage, I guess?
It's not even in there. It don't make a difference. Okay. Y'all keep going.
5, 4. All right, y'all. Back here with On the Scene with your girl, Nino Gotti. We're going to finish talking to Roman Morrow. I'm going to let him tell you all a little bit about himself. But he is a native from Chicago. And tell them more about you.
I'm just a plain old average guy, live in Chicago, in the Austin community.
Okay. You do radio.
Yeah, radio. By the way, intellectualradio.com. I got to put on my radio voice.
Okay.
intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. The Drive at 5 with your host, Roman, 5 p.m. Mondays. Yeah.
Oh my God, just Roman's voice sounds so serenading and intellectually seductive. Like, I can't believe Roman just said that. Catch him on Intellectual Radio with iHeartRadio Mondays at 5 p.m.
And you know, sometimes I'm intellectual.
Right, absolutely.
So yeah, it's like
Sometimes, Mr. Alderman, or you were Alderman?
I ran for alderman. I lost, but
Okay.
I ran.
What was that like?
Well, true story. I just got tired of what was going on in the community.
Okay.
And I just decided to run. And I went door to door. And I had the lemon pepper steppers that the cameraman got over there. So by the time I finished the campaign, the rubbers were like this. And I knocked on every single door, and they basically like, I just can't do that.
Really?
I can't vote. I can't do that to that person. I can't vote for another person.
Oh, they already had. Okay, so they were already took from somebody else, and since who they want to vote for.
Well, when it comes to politics, everybody has their favorites, and you can be a likable person, but if you're not doing your job, you're not doing your job.
Okay.
So it's like, I like you, but you're not on your sugar honey iced tea.
Okay.
And if you're not on your sugar honey iced tea, step to the side and let somebody else do it. But see, we don't look at it that way. And obviously, well, you know, some seniors, he gave me a ham, he gave me a turkey, you know, I had to vote for him. So, and that's what you got to deal with. But I mean, in all seriousness, it was issues, and I was very concerned about the issues and the direction the Austin community was going into, and I'm still concerned about it. And I think being into legislation and studied legislation, I think we can progress if we have a visionary in the seat instead of being reactionary. I really think city council, the mayor, as well as the governor, we're reactionary. When something happens, we got to react to it. And that's with life, period. It's good to react, but you cannot react with everything in life. You got to have a plan.
I agree.
And if you don't have a plan to move forward and to forecast the future, you could be wrong in the future, but at least you got a plan to forecast it.
Yeah, facts, guys.
You see what I'm saying? So, it meant a lot to me. You know, I was good with it. So yeah.
So a little activist-ish? At one point?
I wouldn't say an activist. I just don't like the word activist.
You weren't lobbying, but at the end of the day,
it's more of a community leader type of thing. An activist is like, okay, you pass gas, I'm going to protest at your house because you're polluting the ozone. And I'm going to protest your house because of that. Everything when it comes to activists, you got to really define activists, because activists we always label activism as activists because of a certain cause that you're passionate about. That's not activism. Right. An activist is like, this microphone right here, I'm going to protest it. And you protest every little thing, everything that gets on your nerves. That's part of activism. But if you're not an activist, if you're concerned about an issue, that's leadership. That's more of what you said earlier, community leader.
Okay.
And
so he is that, y'all, at least.
So
he's that, y'all. He's a community leader.
when you're looking at that, it's more of, okay, I'm active, and now it's like every time there's activism going on, you're an activist because you're opposed to this view. That doesn't make you an activist. I mean, people can say, I'm opposed of this hoodie I have on. You know, you know how many people, you know, in China is you see what I'm saying? The same thing. I don't like the color, so I'm going to have the television community to protest your show because you have red on. So we got out of hand with the label, and we got out of hand with the isms. Mm-hmm. So another thing is we need to start defining our isms in the Black community, because it looks like everybody is like, you have togetherism, separatism, individualism. Everything is isms, and isms is what side you on. That's the meaning of it. But in the African American community, we haven't defined our isms. The white community defined their isms. Hispanic community, Asian community define our isms. What in the Black community is our isms? We're more separatism, individualism than anything. And that shouldn't be our isms. And that's what's going on currently in the communities today. I know I sound like intellectual.
Yeah, you do.
So yeah.
Well, the reason why it's a lot of isms is because of the situations that, you know, people live in, how they grew up, the environment that they grew up in, the people that influenced them, and sometimes lack of resources.
You can say that there's always a however component, and when you say there's an isms to that, then how do you define yourself? How do you define you? You cannot let the past control your future, even though sometimes your past can dictate your future if you allow it.
Oh, I get that, but realistically, we're speaking about what's going on right now. It's always good to have good faith, but in reality, that's just what it is. Like, people are not, even though there's so much information out there for people to become better, they don't want to. So sometimes it could be stupidity, or sometimes it could be lack of ignorance.
I wouldn't say stupidity. I would say stagnant.
Well, yeah, but some people know better, and they're not doing better. So they are comfortable, or they compromise.
Let's put it this way. Each and every time you do something, like I said, every time there's an action, there's a reaction. And each and every time, do you have to react? The answer is no.
Absolutely not.
And every time you react, if somebody does this to you, do you have to react? If somebody does something to you or say something to you, do you have to react? So the question is, are you going to blame your past circumstance or your past situation to dictate the future? If you say, this is who I am, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to be, then you have to have that understanding that you got to accept the consequences behind who you are and what you represent. No matter if it's positive or negative,
right?
You got to kind of
you got to be okay with it. Either you okay with being shit or a piece of shit. Like, okay, well, I ain't shit, and I know I ain't shit, but I accept me because I accept what come at me because I ain't shit.
Well, there was this old saying
I dated a guy, by the way, that was like that, and he really wasn't shit. So, yeah, but he knew he wasn't. But go ahead.
But you also knew he wasn't before you met him.
No. He was a nice guy, and then when he got what he wanted,
he had a facade.
You got what you wanted.
But he had a facade.
Of course.
So it's kind of
you know what? Maybe a facade, or maybe once he got comfortable, then like the real ways, I guess.
But
same difference, facade, yeah. Like putting up a mask.
Right.
Until that mask comes off.
So you have they always say 6 months to really get to know the person.
It wasn't even 6. We dated 3, and that was it. As soon as that mask came off, that representative had
but how long
moved aside.
did you allow it?
No, I didn't allow it. I had already been through a previous situation like that, so it really wasn't that long at all. Like within those 3 months, I kind of pretty much figured out what it was, and so I'm like, no, let me go left before. Well, let me go right before it goes left.
Right. So.
But I was just bringing up a moment. But back to what you were saying, a lot of people, they don't think like that. So there are great examples of people being accountable. But in reality, I think a lot of people mentally, they want to play victim in a sense. And they don't want to take accountability for the messed up choices that they make. And then they like to settle around a group of people that are okay with them being any type of way. And that goes back to just people collectively, business-wise, moral-wise, character-wise. There is a gap. It's a shortage in being just real and honoring that.
Yeah, that's why it reminds me of the Gap band, You Dropped a Bomb on Me.
Baby.
You remember that?
On me. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I just think what's happening right now, and it goes back to what I said with the isms, and the isms can relate to relationships or anything you do in life. It's kind of like we got to stop labeling, and people got to stop putting a facade. You know, I got to represent this,
right,
and I got to represent that, and stuff like that. So a lot of people say, well, you know what? I'm going to label this person this, and I'm going to label that person that, but
just assuming, not getting to know them, maybe observing
exactly.
and assuming.
So when you assume, it always makes an ass out of
you, not me.
Yeah. You always put the not in there, but I think that's it in a nutshell, you know. Yeah. So. What I do now?
You didn't do nothing. I was just giggling.
Oh,
I'm in a chippery spirit. Is that okay, guys? Can I giggle a little bit? Shout out to Barbara Foster, by the way. And shout out to On the Scene. Thank you all for having me always. It's much love coming on this platform, being able to express myself and also get to know these lovely interviews that come on this platform.
And thanks, Morrow, for having me on, even though it took a long time to have me to come here. and you know what? She was on my show, I think several months ago, and I kept butchering her name. And you know how you go fast, and I always call her Marbra or Marlboro, like the Marlboro cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, Marlboro, what you think? And she was like, oh, I'm going to get you. So, sorry about that.
He say he's sorry, Mara.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No. It's your world.
No, it's our world. Okay? Remember that. It's about you today.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Roman, Mr. Bachelor's degree at Columbia College, downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you went for your master's at the Concordia University.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And that's where I read that you were a part of the business brochure for the Concordia School.
I was featured, and I was kind of surprised they asked me, because I was like, you sure you got the right person?
I can't say that.
You sure this is not a mistake? You know, you're looking for, is it something? You sure? Me?
Well, they say, in the brochure, you help to facilitate financial literacy, social media, and it was a third one.
Social media.
Financial literacy, social media, and something else.
Golly.
Hold on, let me go check it out.
Wait. I brought in guest speakers.
Right.
Yeah, guest
okay,
speakers.
That's what it was.
But to me, it was a good thing, because it was a learning environment, and then it's like if we can't learn off each other, then who else can we learn from?
Right.
So you learn from your mistakes, and you learn from the positive, your successes you also learn from.
Right.
And you also learn from the negative. And you know, every time I say this, I know my professors cringe, and I just think sometimes, you know, when we have like a problem or something like that, like with papers and stuff like that, it was so amazing that I will challenge the professor without realizing I'm challenging the professors.
Yeah, because you was a little challenging at the beginning of the show when I tried to introduce you, so I can believe that.
I mean, it was like, it wasn't trying to do it on purpose.
Nah, but you really wanted to learn.
Yeah, so, and it's like, when they say, well, this right here, no, and I say, well, I'll show you, and that's what I.
Why I oughta?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay.
And that's basically, you know, who I am. It's a lot of people say, well, I don't picture you as a challenging person, but I am, and a lot of people will probably say, you don't look, and that's where it goes with the labels again. You don't look, you don't fit, you don't you know. Right. Kind of reminds me of my mom, because when she complains and she starts dry, like, why you didn't take out the garbage? And she goes on and on and on. Roman, you said you was gonna cook something to eat, and I've been waiting. And you look at that, and you bring that to school, and it's kind of like, if I can deal with her, I know I can deal with you. So
true.
And that's pretty much in a nutshell with that one. Okay. Yeah, you know, so anything else?
You know what? I just can't, y'all. Just can't. He like to get all the way off, and then what's next? Well, what's next is you are currently in school to have your doctorates. Well, no. We're going to talk about the masters. Well, you got your masters at Concordia, and then now you're going for your doctoral program or degree?
Well, actually, I'm in my dissertation phase.
Okay, meaning about to graduate.
I'm a doctoral candidate.
Okay.
So, and I have to do my dissertation. So you have 7 years to complete your dissertation. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's correct, because it's
that's like 10 years.
Well, it is, but you have to understand, with independent study, it takes a lot out of you, especially when you write something. You got to back it up. Back that up with what you said, and everything has to be cited correctly.
Yeah, I hate it. You know? I'd rather MLA than APA all day. Right. So APA was just like too much. Like, you had to really read.
Right. So
in order to, yeah.
Right. So if you basically skim, you can't do that.
Right.
And you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't. It's like, wow. And then
time consuming.
Sometimes it's like when they tell you got to do it all over again. Man, that's a total different nutshell right there.
Wait, what? What happened?
Well, I did like 3 chapters.
Okay.
And, you know, I got off track. Of course, judging by this interview, you can tell. But I got I got sidetracked because I focused on so much of something else.
You got off subject.
Right.
Off the point.
And then it's like, come on in. come on back to mama, come back. Right. And they said, here, now we want you to do chapter by chapter and just bring it to us.
Oh my God.
So I have to do that from this point forward in order to, do it that way,
I understand. I have a degree in political science. So when it came to just papers after papers, 10-page paper, 20-page paper, 7-page paper, 5-page paper. And so you might not even do it all at once, but when it got towards the end of the semester and things got real, you had to, but that was what the challenging part was, because it was hard to like plagiarize, because you really had to read the books. And I used to go by the research method, like the 5 steps to writing a research paper, so that I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get off point.
And here's the other thing about research papers and stuff, and a whole nutshell about it.
The work.
Well, it's like you have to have your starting point is that you got to have your starting point, because if you start dry, you will lose your audience, like we lost the cameraman. So if if you don't have that, then guess what? You're gonna lose their interest.
That's the introduction. Why wouldn't you come out swinging? That's the intro.
Right, but some people don't. And that's the thing.
Well, they're not writing a correct paper if they don't go hard in it. The intro basically is going to briefly explain what's in the paper, like the body of the paper. So you have to actually read, in a sense, figure out what you're going to talk about, and then in the introduction, boom, this is what it is. So, okay, briefly, the main topics, hit it, and then, smoothly transition into...
And that's true, but it also depends on your professor. And
it depends on the formula. Like it's a research method to write like any type of paper. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like introduction,
that's true.
Body, findings, analytics, conclusion. So if you go off of those, you won't really. It doesn't matter like what teacher, what class. Like this is what.
And I agree with you.
That's the whole purpose.
Here's the however component. You're going to find that out about me. Everything is a however. So with what I said, depending on your professor, what you're saying is true, but your professor would like his paper or her paper in a certain way, in a certain dynamic, in a certain scene. And once a true story, this professor...
Right. I'm about to say your professor.
Yeah. This professor, I will never, but I'm not going to call
the name. Not to say their name, no, but this particular
but
instructor.
He looked at my paper and he was like, oh, no. But I like this part. Why you can't take this part and put it right there? Because I didn't want it there. So, me... It's kind of like what I tell people. APA style, it depends on your professor's interpretation. And they disagreed with me until we took the comprehensive exam and they knew exactly what I was talking about, because it really depends on who you're getting. Because it's kind of like, you could be right, but if a professor is used to a certain way, you could be absolutely wrong, even though you're right. So it's like, you can't challenge me because I'm the professor, you're the student. You can't challenge me because I know what I'm talking about. I studied this way.
Sometimes professors can be wrong,
and if they studied only one direction, and that's one of the things in life. We study one direction. We don't. It's kind of like, you ever been to a racetrack?
No.
Okay. You've been to a racetrack, Pepper Stepper. So you've been to a racetrack. You have all these horses. Imagine they're your professors, okay? and
Silly.
the rabbit is your degree that you're chasing.
Right.
Okay. Now, in life, and what I'm giving this analogy, this is in life, this is in relationship, this is with everything that you going for, your goals, everything. You're in a racetrack. You're betting on this particular horse. You're betting, let's say, what's your favorite number? 22. What's your favorite number?
I don't even know.
You don't have a favorite number? Okay, let's say 5. Okay.
Okay, 5.
Okay, 22 and 5, right? So you have them all lined up. The rabbit is right there. The rabbit, and that's your degree, is always ahead. So they're going to make it go 10 paces ahead before they release you. Okay. Now, you have the jockey on the horse. They release the gate. You run. The horse has blinders. You know why they have blinders?
So they can focus?
So they can focus, but they only can see in one direction. So, let's say your relationship. Let's say life circumstances. Let's say this and that and all of that stuff that we talked about earlier, right? So, the rabbit is going straight ahead and they're running. They only see the rabbit, but they're not, the jockeying is hitting them to kind of like pump you up. Now, that could be your friend. That could be your boyfriend. That could be your girlfriend. That could be anybody. That could be your ride or die that's jockeying you to get to your goal. The goal is the finish line. And that finish line could be whatever. So you have all these people in the blinders so the horse don't get distracted, or you don't get distracted from life circumstances.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So let's say this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened, papers here, this, that, and the other, right?
Right.
So it's one direction. So when you study, people study one direction. They don't study this, that, and the other. And sometimes they don't have time to study this, that, and the other. Again, it goes with life circumstances. So when the 22 and the 5, right? So y'all all running in the same pace. But one horse is faster than the other, and the other is faster than the other, and it goes on and on and on and on. And once you reach that finish line, you see them easing up, and they remove the blinders. And once they have to be careful because now they can see the distraction. So when it comes down to your goals, and especially papers, you only see one direction, which is the professor. You see one direction, which could be the opposite direction. And when it comes to life and relationships, which we talked about earlier, you can be focused on one thing. He can be focused on another. Let's say, for example, one guy trying to get to know you, the other guy trying to get something else out of you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Then once you remove the blinders, then you can see. And once you can see, then you'll say, okay, now I can probably, if you're open, see it your way. But right now, I'm chasing this goal. And with that goal, I'm going to accomplish it with or without you. And that's what the horses and the jockeying is saying to that horse. I just want you to win. I don't want you to be distracted. I just want you to win.
Well, maybe with your particular teacher, they probably I don't know if they
deep,
sent
right?
you some type of way, but normally I just kind of give the teacher what they ask for, the certain type of setup and format, or I look at the syllabus. But I don't try to challenge the teacher unless I need to. Like, hold on, I can show you exactly where I got my literature from, and I can cite it, and this is exactly what you asked for. So what's good?
Yeah, and what's good could be what's good for you may not be good for me.
Yeah, but we got different topics, so we're not gonna get off the subject at hand.
What's good for me may not be good for you, but everything is always good.
Yeah, well, overall, shout out to the people that go to school. It is really, really hard to understand the concept of school. You have to work hard. You're constantly under pressure. You're in debt, okay? And no, school is not about the lessons, the theories, and the classes, but honestly, just to be overall a better critical thinker in the world and being able to identify the labels and the names, because regardless, there are certain labels that are just, it is what it is. So you're kind of a little more prepared to like take the street smarts with the book smarts, but be intelligent and apply knowledge. If you read something, if you are getting some type of information, go outside and do the research and make sure that it's true. That's the whole school life. Now, I know everybody that doesn't go to school would care less, but sometimes I would rather pay somebody with knowledge than to pay someone without that knowledge, because knowledge is always very powerful. Whether you go to school or not, we're going to never know everything. No one person is going to know everything. So you just have to be humble and knowing that somebody else, you can always learn from a child, an older person, a younger person, but somebody is going to have some type of information that you need to know that you didn't know. So I do encourage people to go to school and to graduate and to work for themselves and create avenues and better examples of how the world should be. Since you have maybe like one up. A lot of people are ignorant, and then there are some that are stupid. So, yeah.
Stupid and ignorant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some people that don't know, and then there's some people that do know. Like, like a baby that might have to touch a hot pot to know, stop putting your hand by that oven, stop putting your hand by that stove. But if the baby touches it and burns themselves, then then they know, right? She's so silly. But anyway, overall, you guys, just take accountability and always be an outstanding member in the community. It's nothing wrong with doing the right thing. And your word is your bond. So minus the money, just do what you say you're going to do. First, work for the money and then, enjoy it afterwards. But I do appreciate Mr. Roman Morrow.
Boy, we just went downhill.
I mean, we did because, unfortunately, we are on the scene and we have to,
No
wrap it up. But tell them where to follow you on social media.
Okay, just intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. Mondays at 5 p.m. We gonna work with her.
Also follow me on social media. That's Instagram, DJ_Nino Gotti. And shout out to Guilty Confessions. They sponsor my shows as well. So look, good wealth and health and climax and relax. There's nothing wrong with that. It's your girl,
Now,
Nino
that's
Gotti.
a good, healthy... No, I'm just joking.
It is healthy, right? Healthiness, healthy orgasm, or whatever they said, right? But it's your girl, Nino Gotti, on the scene with Roman Morrow. And we will see you next time. Good night.